Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hi, how you doing? God almighty, right before I just got a flash, alert, news alert, as the show began. And it's, this is in the time of Trump, nothing unusual, but it said that the man who is heading our Defense Department, that would be the former Weekend Fox anchor, Hegseth, who's over in Germany and other parts of Europe, probably making a fool of himself. The little bit I saw said that Hegseth has announced over there that Ukraine's wishes for an end to the war are what? Not realistic, something like that. So in other words, saying that we are no longer in agreement with Ukraine on how to end this. Interestingly, of course, this coincides with the release by Russia of Mark Fogel from these parts, who was being held hostage by the Russians so they could barter him. And it was odd yesterday when the announcement was made that he had been released and was on his way home. The first thing I wanted to know is, if it's a prisoner exchange, what's the exchange? We get Mark Fogel, who was doing nothing, and the Russians get back what particular crook, spy, whatever. And fascinatingly, the White House said there was no exchange. This was done out of the generosity of Vladimir Putin. It was Trump's amazing ability at geopolitics that talked Putin into releasing Mark Fogel for, I guess, nothing. And in fact, the White House suggested that this would be the beginning of, the end of the Ukraine war. We get Mark Fogel and the Russians get Ukraine? Was that the deal? Now, I understand that there is some crook, some oligarchic cryptocurrency crook who was being held, I think, in California, who in fact was released back to Russia, as Fogel was released back to us. Hence, an exchange that the White House denies. But it's fascinating because the Kremlin, Putin, is saying there was an exchange. We gave them this school teacher, and they gave us back our crook. The Kremlin has said, yes, there was a prisoner exchange. The White House has said there was not. The truth is, there was. So here's where we are. We are at a place where Putin and the Kremlin are more reliable sources than the White House. The White House is lying. Putin's telling the truth. And why lie when it's obvious it's a lie? And then how conveniently Hegseth the next day starts suggesting that Ukraine is overreaching. Ukraine, the country that was invaded by Russia, is overreaching in its desires to retain its land. So Trump is about to, throw Ukraine under the bus. And something else that, I mean, you just, I don't know. It's so repulsive. Something else that I saw, I don't know if you did, but Hegseth, when he showed up in at an American military base in Germany yesterday, his first overseas visit, there was a protest. And astonishingly, the protest was middle school children in a school on the base, a school that teaches the children of Americans that are in Germany. The Patch Middle School in Stuttgart. And when Hegseth showed up, those kids walked out in protest of him and what he has done thus far in his 1 week tenure to the American military their parents serve in. Now, I gotta tell you, apparently the kids were most enraged about the DEI stuff, saying that the military was somehow weakened by hiring of anything other than white heterosexual men. And that these kids overseas, parents in the military, had the courage to walk out on the Secretary of Defense and voice their anger. Pretty amazing. And if those kids do that in Germany, protesting the Department of Defense, what is it we are doing here? Let's follow the children's example. And I've suggested the one way. Mark it on your calendars. Last day of this month, February 28th, an economic blackout. You're not going to spend a penny. And you're going to spread the word. Please, let's make some kind of a statement like these kids did. They didn't say, well, there's only a few of us. What possible good could it do? Let's find out. They walked out of class for nearly an hour, underscoring the scope of disillusionment within the military of Trump's crackdown on diversity initiatives. A letter had been sent to parents by one of the school's administrator. Also, it says a group of adults dressed in civilian clothes, likely the kids' parents, were also gathered outside at Stuttgart and protested within view and earshot of Hegseth and his delegation. Now, that required more courage than not spending a penny on February 28th. Just saying. Good for them. What I was going to start with was something funny, but then that thing came up, Hegseth, the first salvo to throw the Ukrainians under the bus, and it pissed me off. But I got to tell you, I got an email as a member of the Green Bay East High School graduating class of 1966. I got an email from one of my former classmates saying that there would be a 59th reunion this summer. 59th. Now, the last one I went to was 9 years ago, the 50th. And that was, it's always interesting, especially if you've left and don't see these folks. But 59th. And along with the invitation to the 59th, there was a note that said that obviously some people will be surprised that we're not waiting till next year for the 60th. But the reason given was that so many people are dead or dying that they didn't want to wait. They said, hey, what are we waiting for? A round number? Let's just have a 59th so we can see a few people who, if we have a 60th, aren't going to be here. Okay? So let's do a 59th, which I think is so funny. So, anyway, I wanted to share that with you. They actually counted up a good third of my graduating class is dead already. And they admitted they really don't know how many because a lot of people have moved on, disappeared, and we don't know. It wasn't that large a class. I'm just saying. So the 59th reunion, I don't know if I'm going. It's more of a hassle for me, but obviously since my mom's still there, I probably will. The 59th. Okay, so there's that. And there's a call here, huh? I don't know. Hello, hello.
Good morning. Good morning, Lynn.
Hi.
Hi, good morning. I want to say thank you for this show. I'm enjoying it right now.
Good.
And I want to say, you know what? I didn't know about the story about the children going out protesting. And every little thing counts. God bless them, because after the election, it has felt crazy, I would say. And I think that the first kind of moment that kind of got me out of that or shook me up a little bit was the New Zealand, Parliament, when beautiful woman was singing, and disrupting everything like she's supposed to. And I was like, oh yeah. So to hear these stories and the protests and stuff like that, I think it's just a way for us to sort of get out of the mind control. I feel like all these little tricks that the people are doing, that Trump and all these other, idiots are doing, is a form of mind control. And I think that if they beat you down, they convince you this is the way it's going to be for who knows how long, then we that's the power right there. So
Yeah.
I like hearing stories of people. For me personally, I have dealt with my family, and they have some people in my family have disabilities, so that's where my heart goes to. And we do gentle activism. We call people, we bug different people on the phone. We say we don't like this, and we do calls, we write things.
Good.
We are more active than we've ever been in our lives.
Good. Good. I mean, this is what we've got to do. Americans have got to shake themselves out of their torpor or the fact that we're just paralyzed by the tsunami of just constant, unconstitutional, illegal, flat out corruption happening right in front of our faces. Um, you know, Paralysis is understandable, but we got to shake it off because we can act, have to act.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. And I was going to say, and I'll let you get back to your program. I'm listening while I'm working on some things on my computer. I think that for me, what I found empowering is after the holidays, I've been reading. I haven't done this before, but I've been reading a lot of books about history, whether it be, of course, my my community, African American community. But I just feel like with the Trump administration, there's so many groups. God help us, so many groups under that energy. I'm thinking about the Me Too movement. It just happened before this crazy person got office again. So I think about my sisters. I think about people in my community, the African American community, the LGBT community. We've had so many victories over the hundreds of years, people who've been here. So I read those books again to get inspired about, okay, well, when people were really under,
Hmm.
attack and this crazy things happen, civil rights or the gay rights or suffrage, there's so many wonderful things that achievements have made. How did they do it when people can literally go in their homes and, God knows, do whatever they want back in those days. So I'm reading those stories right now, and I'm telling the people in my family, the nephews and nieces, and other things about these stories and the gentle activism. I'm writing things up, and I'm engaging with the other people because I don't hate the MAGA people. I'm just saying to them, listen, I think that when corporations take over our government, as you say, we all lose. I mean, when election happened, who got a trillion and billions of dollars? It was those people. It wasn't no American. We didn't get a lot of money,
Well,
and they going over there.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. And I don't know how long it's going to take before they feel the impact of what Trump and these guys are doing. But if you look at the decimation of our government and the deep state they're destroying, shuttering all these agencies, throwing people out of work, and stopping grant money that goes to all of the states. The reality is most of that kind of money has always gone to the red states because they
absolutely,
are the poorer states and they've gotten
absolutely.
the most federal largesse. And when that starts drying up and when those jobs, it's going to impact their lives in ways. And I just hope to hell that they are able to connect the dots and realize who did it to them.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I mean, I didn't know that before the election, but I'm in New York City, so in a way, I feel, in a way, protected a little bit. We have our problems, but I'm born and raised. This is my home. But I understand my relatives who live in Nebraska or wherever, and they're not protected, and they do rely on the government to
Right.
come in because charity is not the thing in those different places. So yeah, I think it's kind of a harsh reality for the people that love him to say, wow, he's really doing this kind of stuff. And then this idea of the unelected bureaucrat when we get in all these people coming in. I would say, I'll let you go. When I grew up, again, as an African American person, we had conflicted, ideas about the government. We just did. But the thing was, we played by the rules. It was this idea that the government doesn't work unless it was equal in some way that you had Republicans, you had Democrats. The idea in my lifetime that these people are trying to take us to a place where they are going to wipe everything out and everybody wears a red hat to go to work. Everybody and all these offices across the land, even in New York City, wherever, judges, we all have to wear a red hat just so we can interact with other Americans who didn't vote for the man. He didn't. A lot of people didn't vote, and a lot of people voted for Miss Kamala Harris, and they voted for him. So it wasn't like this big thing. So it's a lot of us who would feel totally resenting that and repulsed by the idea of having. So I think that's actually It's not really a smart thing they're doing, because there's a lot more Democratic people, some that didn't vote, and of course people who did, who are sitting like, wait a minute, we don't want to live in a country. I think the country works when you do have the equalness. I didn't agree with Bush, but I didn't feel his way under him. I didn't
No.
vote for him.
Right.
So it's just like, this is not the America. That's when I'm thinking with Elon. I'm like what's going on, Russia and all? No, this
Yeah.
is not. No.
Yeah. Well, they will take us there if we do not rise up and push back. There is no doubt
Amen.
about it. So thank you for every little bit you and your family does. We've all got to chip in here. Truly do.
Well, keep up the good work, Miss Lynn. I'm watching, I'm listening,
Thank
and
you.
hopefully this year I'll be able to call back in. But I love that story about the children. I didn't know, I didn't see it. And then
Yeah.
that's another thing. The media, we not seeing these beautiful stories, and like, oh, so
I
thank
know.
God we have people, like you and other places online who are showing, these wonderful stories, because they're censoring that too. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Spread the word.
I'm going to. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Goodbye. Bye-bye. Yeah, really. Okay, so here's some stuff that I need to talk to you about. Oh God. it's I want to talk about the shamelessness of these people. I mean, their corruption, they do it right out in full view. Uh, it's it's just extraordinary. Um, let me. Some of you probably saw um, this bizarre scene yesterday where CNN, MSNBC, Fox cut away to the Oval Office where sat the president and where stood the world's richest man with his little boy. Now, there's this bizarre picture that was, I'm not sure where I saw it. Maybe it was the Post, of the scene. And Musk's little boy is looking toward the president, and I swear to God, he's got his little arm out, looking like a Nazi salute. Now, I don't think for a minute the little boy was doing a Nazi salute, but the reality is that his dad sure as hell did, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that the little boy was as well, but I don't think so. I just think his arm was up. But there are these three beings: the president of the United States, the world's richest man, and the little boy with his arm out in a salute. And what transpired there is mind blowing, because the president spoke for a little bit and then asked Musk to hold forth. And boy, did he ever. He went on and on and on and on. And he was saying why he and his little tech bro boys were going in, terrorizing federal workers, literally closing down entire agencies, throwing thousands out of work. In so doing, killing people overseas who are starving and relying on the food that those agencies sent, and not to tell you things you don't know. By the way, one of the people, there were reporters obviously in the room. One of the major news sources, the Associated Press, AP, that is the the journalistic organ that newspapers rely on. Most newspapers are filled with AP stories because they can't afford staffs of their own. The Associated Press was not at that reporting it. You know why? Okay, now we move from the shamelessness to the pettiness. The Associated Press reporter was told they were barred from the Oval Office because the Associated Press had released a statement that because it was still in its stories going to be calling that big body of water to our south the Gulf of Mexico, which is, of course, what 99.999% of the world knows it as. And the AP, they often have to make these kinds of judgments, and they tell their reporters, no, if you're referring to that, it's Gulf of Mexico. And that's that. That and the White House then has barred the Associated Press. It's, again, the pettiness is mind-blowing. Okay, so what the president did yesterday, and the reason that there was this extraordinary scene yesterday afternoon with the president and the richest guy and the little kid, was that the president signed yet another executive order. This is what he does. And this executive order gives the world's richest man even more power. Yeah. What could that possibly be? Well, this executive order actually says that every agency in our government, every agency, you name some acronym, you name, cabinet level and all their little sub-levels, every single one of them will now have installed at the highest level a person that is to be called the Doge team lead. And that person will have oversight over every single hiring decision. Doge is Musk, and he now will put someone in every agency who will be deciding who will be hired and who will not. And we already know that the only people who can be hired are people who say that Donald Trump won the election, that Joe Biden stole it. They're actually asked these questions now. You have to pledge fealty to the entire dogma and craziness of MAGA. So then the president, upon announcing this wonderful thing he just signed, asked Musk to explain why it was necessary. And that's when Musk went on and on and on. And by the way, you could see Trump at a few points clearly thinking, shut the fuck up. You could see him. Because it's not like him to sit and not be the center, to sit and listen. But it's fascinating to see how long he has been willing to allow Musk to steal the spotlight. And in fact, how he's given Musk the spotlight. Now, you could argue it's mostly because he doesn't want to do any of the work anymore. He really doesn't. So let Musk be the lightning rod. Let Musk take the heat. And so there was Musk. And his kid sometimes got a little fussy, and he dealt with the kid. And I'm saying, have you ever seen such a thing? If a woman were to bring her toddler to work, and work was standing there with the President of the United States explaining why you're destroying the entire government, if that woman had in her arms a child who was fussing and giving Nazi salutes on occasion, how would that go over? But when you're Elon Musk, when you're the richest man in the world, and the President of the United States worships nothing more than money, well, you get to do it. And Musk said, he was talking about how the bureaucracy, the people he's throwing out of work, how they're corrupt, which is such a slander. No proof given of anything. He talked about how they're corrupt, how they're bleeding us dry, how they're not doing the job. And then he said this, and if you fall out of your chair or run screaming from the room with your hair on fire, it's totally understandable. The richest man, kid in tow, said this: if the bureaucracy is in charge, then what meaning does democracy have? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, you SOB. If you are in charge, you, an unelected South African racist, if you are in charge, what meaning does our democracy have? That's the question. Astonishing what's going on. And then I was mentioning corruption. All right. So, when Trump took office in another lifetime, what was it, about 3.5 weeks ago, when Trump was sworn into office, Elon Musk and his businesses were under more than 32, I don't know if that means 33, we're under more than 32 continuing investigations conducted by no fewer than 11 federal agencies. Yeah, that was 3.5 weeks ago. And this guy, whose businesses were under more than 32 investigations by no fewer than 11 federal agencies, has been given the keys to the kingdom and is running roughshod in every one of those agencies, throwing out people willy-nilly and installing his own people in charge. And the reality is, as you will not be surprised to hear, that in the ensuing 3.5 weeks, most of those investigations have been closed down. And in some cases, the very agencies that were doing the investigations have been closed down. I give you the National Labor Relations Board. They had a lot of investigations into his various corporations, all for violating all kinds of rules and violating his employees' rights. One of the first things Trump did in office is he fired threw all the Democrats off the board, keeping it from doing any business at all because it doesn't even have a quorum. The NLRB that had all those cases against Elon Musk now has no ability to do a thing. And imagine all the other corporations who are just thrilled. Also under investigation, also knowing now they can do whatever they damn well please, ain't anybody going to hold them accountable. This is unbelievably corrupt. He was under investigation by the SEC. He was under investigation by the FAA. And boy, has he gone after them. And he is the one who is accusing the agencies of fraud. My God. You know, you can't make it up. Yeah. Hey, did you see the other breaking news was that inflation? That was the biggie that knocked off Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. The people had had enough of that. Inflation is up since Trump took office. Yeah. Thought he was going to fix that. An egg is beyond reach. Thought he was going to fix that. Ukraine is still at war. Thought he was going to fix that as well. Oh, guys. Okay, a moment of respite. So the Westminster Dog Show, which I never watch because I hate the whole breed thing. I'm a mutt person. But I saw some big black dog one. I forget what it's called. Is that a King Charles? I don't know what it was. Beautiful dog. And now I guess it gets to just be a dog and doesn't have to prance around. So I'm happy for the dog. Anyway, the science section of the Times yesterday had a piece about breeds and dogs, and about how humans, as we so often do, screw up what nature is attempting to do through natural means. We step in and decide, nah, I think we'll do this here, crop that there, and screw up this over here. Anyway, here's some of the things that I yanked out of that little piece. I caller, I see ya. I'll be there. Hang on. It's sad that humans obviously started using dogs to do various jobs. I had never heard of this, and I'm just passing it on to you because it's fascinating. Have you heard of a turnspit dog? Because that was a big thing. Turnspit dogs, now extinct, were dogs that spent their days running around in little wheels that would then turn a big spit on which was roasting a big hunk of meat. So to keep this meat, being cooked on all sides, a little dog would be running over and over and over again, and they were called turnspit dogs. It was the mainstay, it says here, of European kitchens. Never heard of it, just passing it on to you, and it's now extinct. Thank you for your service. And then the article goes on to say what we already know, but nobody seems to give a damn. Most breeds now are so genetically homogeneous, are so highly inbred, that dogs who are purebred are susceptible to diseases and ailments that are rare in a mutt, but not in them. And they're sort of doomed to these things. And we know it. And we did it to them. And then it says what I've always known, mutts are the healthiest dog. There's no doubt about it. And in creating modern breeds, humans generally put a much stronger emphasis on appearance rather than behavior. And overall, a breed is a poor predictor of behavior. You don't know what, you think, oh, a lab, they're so sweet. You don't know, because all the attention has been on looks. And they say breed is a poor predictor of behavior. And there is more variation within breeds than between them. Someone who wants a friendly, fetch-loving dog that doesn't bark cannot bank on getting exactly that just by, bringing home a lab. You may get exactly the opposite of that. And then there was this, which blew me away, and I still am blown away. Most dogs are not pets. More than 80% of the world's dogs are free living animals that fend for themselves and are not under human control. More than 80% of the dogs in this world. That is so mind-blowing to an American. Yep. They are free living animals. More than 80%. And they are descended from generations of free-ranging dogs. And they've got all the natural genetic diversity that has been lost in purebreds. They are just dogs. And one can bet they're smart as holy hell and healthy as hell, because they gotta be. Just saying. Okay, let's get back to other stuff. And to you, caller, go ahead.
I could use a pat on the head right about now.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Hi.
Happy Lincoln's birthday to you.
Oh, God. This is Rich from the North Hills, for those of you not
Absolutely.
recognizing the voice. And yeah, you're right. Happy, poor Abe. He was the beginning of the Republican Party, and now we're living with a guy who's the end of it.
He's gone from Honest Abe to Despicable Donald.
Yep. Incredible.
I was thinking about old Honest Abe and the demise of the penny. I'm not going to make the penny anymore. Did you see that?
I did, and I have to admit that's the only thing he's done that I actually agree with.
Yeah. But the only thing is, he was looking for savings, but the Treasury said that the savings will be eaten up because now they'll have to make more nickels.
And I think nickels are actually more pricey to make.
They are. They're almost 14 cents.
A
Where the
nickel?
penny is on. Yeah, it costs you 14 cents to make a nickel.
Jesus.
So I was thinking, look at all the beautiful things the penny has given us over the years. The penny postcard, the penny stamp, the penny parking meter, the penny arcade, the penny scale, a pretty penny, the 3-penny opera, penny wise and pound foolish, the bad penny, a penny for your thoughts, the penny Annie, the 10-penny nail, penny lane, penny pinchers, penny candy, penny loafers, pennies from heaven. All from just a little penny.
Oh, that's wonderful. Penny
And here's
loafers.
some,
Yeah.
huh?
Penny loafers. I loved my penny loafers. Although some
Yeah,
people were putting dimes and nickels in them too.
yeah, those were the rich kids. Yeah.
Right.
I was eating a bowl of alphabet soup yesterday, and these are the kind of questions that keep me awake at night. Do other languages have alphabet soup? Is there Hebrew alphabet soup?
I don't know.
Have you ever?
I'm
I was wondering if you put it in a pot, do you have to stir it from right to left? And also, I was wondering why archaeologists haven't come up with evidence that King Tut ate hieroglyphic soup. So I don't know if that's possible or not.
Well, you got
Another thing that
a weird head
huh?
there, Rich.
I know. Another thing that I was thinking about: why isn't the inventor of the leaf blower in prison?
Oh, hey, you tell me.
When we had these little light snow showers that come down, I mean, you could flick it away with one whisk of your broom. And there's some nitwit out there with a 600 horsepower or a leaf blower blowing the snow away from. He's got a 10-foot section of walk,
You
and he's
know,
blowing his.
the
Uh,
one thing I thought in the winter, at least in the winter, they don't use these damn snow blowers, and you're right. They do now. Right.
yeah. It used to be just the fall, then it spread into blowing away the grass or a little bit of mulch or something, and now it's already into snow.
Yeah.
Cheat.
God help us.
Craziness. Oh, you made a comment that I was listening to a show a couple nights ago that you have to explain this one to me. Here it is. Jews didn't do hot dogs. Now, what the heck does that mean?
I said Jews
You were
didn't.
talking about that you didn't have hot dogs in your house growing up or something. You said Jews didn't do hot dogs.
Oh, right. Because when I first encountered a hot dog, it was at Johnny Paulus's house where I was eating dinner with the family, and hot dog was served. And right, it was one of those humiliating moments in my young life where I didn't know how to eat it, and I ate it the wrong way. I ate it like I took a bite like, it was a typewriter. I took it horizontally.
Like a harmonica.
Yeah, like a harmonica. Thank you. That's the image. And the entire Paulus family started laughing at me. I mean, that this idiot didn't know how to eat a hot dog. And I'm not sure why. I don't know if it was. I mean, Jews did do hot dogs because they're kosher hot dogs. There's
right.
Nathan's kosher hot dogs, and Hebrew National all beef hot dogs. But I think in Green Bay, the only hot dogs were Oscar Mayer hot dogs, and those were pigs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jews don't
Yeah,
eat pigs.
that says it all.
And it's not that my family kept kosher, but those things, obviously, both my parents came from homes in which you never had a hot dog. My mother never made a hot dog. I didn't know, but so that's why a lot of Jews did not do hot dogs. I guess if you
Didn't do
didn't
hot dogs.
live where you had those Jewish hot dogs.
Now it makes sense.
Okay,
I think.
that was it. Kind of, sort of.
Okay. One last little thing before I do the top 10 list that's been promised. Here's
Okay.
one to ponder. Why is Frankenstein wearing a sports jacket?
Is he?
Yeah, he wears a sports jacket. He's terrorizing villagers, but he's dressed like he's going to a wine tasting party.
What do you think he should be wearing?
I don't know, some kind of shroud maybe or something, but he's dressed to the nines. Weird, just weird.
Okay.
Oh, someday I got to tell you my Doug Hurst story. The first time I met him, it's a riot. So
Okay.
I'll save that one for another day.
Save that.
All right, here we go. Top 10. We had the Super Bowl. People left because it was a blowout game. They looked for something else to watch. Here's what they were watching. The top 10 shows watched instead of the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Number 10, getting your hands dirty with Melania. Number 9, Celebrity Moil.
What?
You're
out of your mind.
Number 8, The Fabulous World of Puss.
Oh, God.
I know, you're entitled to groan. It's part of the bit. Number 7, 25th Annual Proctology Telethon. If Clarence was here, he'd say, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Number 6, comedy improv at the Vatican.
Okay.
Number 5, drug cartel hoedown.
All right, I like that one.
Number 4, guess my disease. Number 3, will you eat what RFK Jr. is cooking?
Man, you're going to give ideas to these TV producers. No. Okay.
Number 2, County Morgue the musical. And number one, harvesting drifters' organs.
There you go. Harvest.
I leave you with this quote by Keegan Michael Key, who once said, "People can be moved by a wonderful piece of rhetoric, some by a stirring speech, but everybody can be moved by something that makes them laugh. Everybody."
Indeed.
So don't let Trump and his minions squeeze fun and laughter out of your lives. That's my advice for the day.
It's wonderful advice, and thank you for the laughter. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for letting me be goofy.
Okay, we'll look forward to another call. Thank you, Rich.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Rich from the North Hills, folks. Oh, man, I love it. Let's see. Laura says, I put dimes in my penny loafers in case I needed to use a payphone in an emergency. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, the memories, she said. Yeah, it was a whole other time, a better time. We're so lucky. We're so lucky we got to know it. Oh, man. And that's another reason why we got to get our act together. Yeah. Hey, I've got a final thing here. That maybe I should just save it for tomorrow. Maybe I'll just save it for tomorrow. It'll hold. It's just something I read in the Atlantic, which was really good. And I think I'll hold on to it. And let's see if I can get some of your emails in. A lot of you are saying have a quick and restful recuperation. Yeah. By the way, tomorrow's today's Wednesday, right? Yeah. Tomorrow's my last show for a little while because I do have surgery on Friday. I think that phone call that you might have heard was them telling me about it. So next week I will not be here. I mean, and I'm hoping I'll be back then right after. So thank you for that, and Gigi as well. Thanks for keeping your show going amidst the insanity. Sending you good vibes. Hope all goes well. Looking forward to your return. Oh, yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if the chaos paused while you recover? Oh, yeah. I don't think so. I don't think it will. Pat writes, did you read in yesterday's post Trump's attitude toward the Kennedy Center? Oh, you bet. Oh no, it's just unbelievable. Yeah. You should share it with your listeners. Pat writes, I played there in 1971 with the World Symphony Orchestra conducted by Arthur Fiedler. Pat is Patricia Prattis Jennings, who was and is an extraordinary keyboardist and was the keyboardist for the Pittsburgh Symphony for decades. And under Previn and under all that, I mean, just you name them, conductors came and went, and Pat was there. So she says, I played in 71 at the Kennedy Center with the World Symphony Orchestra, and she says, they were preparing to open Disney World in Orlando. So you played at Disney World in Orlando for the opening too? That's mind-blowing. Pat's got some obviously incredible experiences. And yes, I did, Pat, I saw the piece, and I even quoted from part of it. And somebody had pointed out that of all these incompetent people that his administration has put in power, this one, I don't know if it's the top of incompetent, but it's up there. To have Trump appoint himself as to run the Kennedy Center for the Arts. His idea of art is, that these portraits that are done of him, looking like he's some. Well, I don't even want to. I can't. I just can't. So yeah, there is all of that. And again, guys, if there's anything I can do to get you to do the February 28th economic strike thing, tell me what it is and I'll do it. I'll stand on my head. Well, I used to be able to stand on my head. I think I could. I'm not sure. But please, and spread the word. It doesn't do much good if you just do it and you don't tell everyone in your orbit to do it as well. February 28th, don't spend a penny. Not online, not in person. Don't put gas in your car. Don't pay a bill. Just don't. Okay? Just saying. That would really, 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 really be helpful. And Rust Belt says, didn't you know that renaming the Gulf of Mexico was much more of a priority for Americans than reducing food prices? I did miss that. I missed that. Oh gosh. All right, guys. There's that. And if you want to know the definition of uncomfortable, just take a look at King Abdullah of Jordan sitting in the Oval Office yesterday. as Trump tells him that we're going to take the Gaza Strip and we're going to send all those Palestinians to Jordan and Egypt. Yeah. Incredible. You want ethnic cleansing? All you lefties who couldn't vote for Kamala because she was with Biden and yeah, they were too pro-Israel or something. Thanks. Appreciate it. Great idea to sit that one out. Oh, God help us and save us from the self-righteous. Okay. Anyway, that's it for me. That's it. I'm done. Finished. Kaput. I'll be back tomorrow for a final hurrah, and then taking the week off. Wish it were a vacation, but it's not going to be.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.